Hi, I'm Jude from HeadFi.org. The Southern California HeadFi community is our single biggest HeadFi community in the country. It's huge, which is one of the reasons why CanJam SoCal is always so exciting. Now, this year's CanJam SoCal is happening April 8th and 9th, 2017 at the JW Marriott LA Live. Yes, we're moving CanJam from the suburbs to the heart of LA, the LA Live area. That's going to be awesome. What's also awesome is it's our biggest CanJam ever. In terms of exhibitor count, we've never had more exhibitors at a single CanJam than this one. Now, because there are so many exhibitors, we obviously can't cover them all in this preview, but this is still going to be a long preview video, so we have to get right to it. We're leading off this CanJam SoCal preview with JH Audio today because at CanJam SoCal, JH Audio is launching a new in-ear monitor called Lola. This is Lola Universal Fit. That's Lola Custom. Now, I'm not sure if Lola is going to be considered the JH flagship. I think it's the best sounding in-ear monitor, though, that Jerry Harvey has ever designed. So despite the fact that it's not even close to being JH Audio's most expensive piece, to me, the Lola is the new JH flagship. For those of you familiar with the classic song Lola by the Kinks, it shouldn't be surprising that JH Audio would choose Lola as the name for their first hybrid IEM. Funny, yes, but not surprising. For those of you not familiar with the song, look it up and listen to it. It's a great, great tune. As in the song, JH Audio's Lola comes packed with some surprises not visible from the outside. Now, as I said, Lola's a hybrid IEM in that it employs both dynamic and balanced armature drivers. Now, while the use of both of these kinds of drivers together in an IEM has become increasingly common, in hybrid IEMs, the dynamic driver is typically used as the low-frequency driver, the bass driver, and armatures are then used for mids and highs. Except in Lola. Lola uses dynamic drivers for the mid-range, specifically from 200 Hz to 3 kHz. Even more of a surprise is that there are 2 dynamic drivers per side and that they're configured using what JH Audio is calling DOME technology, D-O-M-E standing for dual opposed mid enclosure. That is, the two 4.9mm dynamic drivers are facing each other in a tuned phase-correct bandpass enclosure that's custom 3D printed in JH Audio's lab. The total driver complement per side is dual low balanced armatures covering the lows from 10 Hz to 200 Hz. The dome dynamic drivers cover the midband from 200 Hz to 3 kHz, and quad balanced armatures cover the highs from 3 kHz to 20 kHz. Using the dual opposed dynamic mid-range drivers, Jerry Harvey has achieved with Lola a surreally natural, silky sounding mid-range that puts its mid-band performance close to or perhaps even at the top of all IEMs I've yet heard, and this is where so much of our music lives, in that mid-range. Like some of the other high-end JH Audio models, Lola offers adjustable bass. Now, I don't recall seeing any other IEMs offering continually adjustable bass, and what I like about JH's implementation is that it affects only the bass drivers. Now, I find that very important, especially with Lola, given how the dynamic dual mids, they're essentially perfect for my taste, so I'd like to keep them untouched. We're showing you measurements now on the screen from JH Audio that show the effect of the bass adjustment in 3 different positions: flat, halfway, and wide open being the maximum 15 decibel bass boost. The Lola, like most other JH in-ear monitors, uses their Freak Phase steel tube waveguides, which are designed to acoustically time the arrival of the sound from all drivers to arrive simultaneously. Here's another measurement from JH Audio showing the phase performance of Lola across the audio band. The Lola's treble performance is excellent, with wonderful extension to my ears and a lot of detail with no unnatural bites, sibilance, or harshness. If you're getting the impression by now that the Lola is staggeringly good, that's because it is. It is, again, the best IEM I've yet heard from JH Audio, and one of the best I've ever heard, period. It may not be the most expensive piece in JH's line, but again, it is, in my opinion, their best ever. JH Audio has obviously been very busy recently with their new performance series. These are the new universal fit versions of the Roxanne, JH16 V2 and JH13 V2, and now they've added Lola. They're all worth hearing, but make the Lola among the very top of your list of things to demo at CanJam SoCal. It's that good. Here's another big CanJam SoCal product launch. Astell&Kern will be launching a new portable player there called the Khan. Now, I've used a lot of digital audio players, and I still think Astell&Kern's 300 series players have the best user interfaces of any of the dedicated high-res players I've used. Now, thankfully, the Astell&Kern Khan continues with the 300 series type interface. I also like where they've now put the hardware buttons on the Khan, on the bottom bezel laid out intuitively with large, widely spaced track control buttons, and I also like that the home button is now actually a proud mechanical button. Those of you familiar with AK's 300 series players are probably aware of AK's optionally available AK amp that mates with the AK 300 series players. I've used the AK amp with my AK 380 for a more robust output, and as you can see, the AK 380 with the AK amp attached is a nice tight integrated stack looking like a single piece. Now, as much as I dig this stack and as integrated as it looks, the AK amp still has to be activated via the player's menu to turn it on. The Con integrates a similar type of amp as its built-in output stage. It's nearly as powerful as the AK300 series amp, but is always at the ready. From a usability standpoint, this is a big deal for me. The Con's built-in amp section offers nearly twice the output voltage of the unamped AK300 series players in unbalanced mode, and over 3 times the voltage of those players in balanced mode. Also, the Con has what I believe is the lowest output impedance of any of Astell&Kern's players, 1.3 ohms from the balanced headphone output and 0.65 ohm from the unbalanced output. To house this bigger amp section and the large 6200 mAh battery, the Con's aluminum chassis is quite a bit thicker than any previous Astell&Kern player, but the Con is still a bit slimmer than my AK380 with its AK amp. And the Con's shape, with its beveled backside, is also significantly more pocket-friendly than the AK380 amp combo. Now, I haven't seen its battery life rating, but I expect the Con to have significantly longer runtimes than any other AK players. The Con, with its AK4490 based DAC section, decodes PCM up to 32384, and it also natively decodes DSD up to DSD256 like the AK380 does. The Astell&Kern Con, I think, is the best value in Astell&Kern's lineup. It'll also be one of the strongest value for the dollar players on the market when it's released, in my opinion. Now, make sure to hear the new Con and the rest of Astell&Kern's lineup of players, headphones, and accessories at their exhibit at CanJam SoCal. Ultimate Ears is exhibiting at CanJam SoCal, and if I had to pick a couple of highlights from their family of in-ear monitors, I'd say start with their 2 top in-ear monitors, the Ultimate Ears Pro Remastered and the UE18 Plus Pro. Now, the Pro Remastered is the remaster of their first in-ear studio monitor, the Ultimate Ears Reference Monitor, which for years was one of my primary neutral reference headphones. However, whereas the Reference sounded like something that would measure flat, the Remastered sounds more like my personal definition of neutral nowadays, which takes into account room effect. To me, then, the Pro Remastered is tonally a significant improvement on the original Reference monitor. Now, the Pro Remastered is the second collaboration with the engineers from Capitol Studios, and it was inspired by the sounds at Capitol Studios. Though I've never specifically asked, I wonder if perhaps the improved sound relates to the improvements they've made to the facilities at Capitol Studios since the first Reference monitor was voiced. The Pro Remastered is the first of their in-ear monitors to incorporate what Ultimate Ears calls their True Tone drivers, which UE claims is flat to 18 kHz. Their goal with True Tone and the improved treble performance was to better reproduce the harmonic structures and overtones that they feel many other headphones miss. The Remastered is also the first of UE's pieces to use their sound engine enclosure assembly that keeps the lows, mids, and highs separate until they interact with your eardrum. It also helps to protect the balanced armature drivers and allows for tighter tolerances. The latest UE piece to incorporate True Tone drivers and the sound engine enclosure is the new Ultimate Ears UE18 Plus Pro. The 18 Plus Pro is the second generation of their flagship UE18 monitor, and it's improved in every way. For this latest generation UE flagship, new drivers were employed, and the crossover design has been completely revised and optimized to rebalance and reshape the curve. For my taste, the UE18 Plus Pro is the best sounding monitor UE's done yet, with some warmth in the mids and well-controlled punch in the lows. The treble is airy and extended, and overall I'd say its profile takes on a character that might reasonably be described as somewhat like the Pro Remastered, but with a little more color that I seem to find more lifelike than the Pro Remastered. Anyway, make sure to listen to the Ultimate Ears Pro Remastered and find out why it's earned its place as one of my neutral reference headphones, and also make sure to listen to the UE18 Plus Pro to hear what I think is UE's best flagship to date. In addition to their individual exhibits in the Gold Ballroom area where most exhibitors are located, MrSpeakers and Schiit Audio have teamed up for a second exhibit area in the Atrium 3 room at CanJam SoCal 2017. This will give them a quieter listening environment, better suited for hearing their flagship products. Now, MrSpeakers will have their upcoming electrostatic headphone on display with Headamp's flagship Blue Hawaii amp and fronted by the outstanding Schiit Audio Yggdrasil multi-bit DAC. The MrSpeakers electrostatic headphone has 88mm diaphragms and has 580-volt bias, so it's compatible with Stax Pro 580-volt Pro bias. Now, to audition this system, you have to sign up for a 15-minute session. I'm hoping there's still some slots available by the time you see this video. The sign-up link can be found in the CanJam SoCal thread at headfi.org. In the Atrium 3 room, you'll also be able to find Schiit's other top multi-bit DAC, the Schiit Gungnir multi-bit, feeding the Schiit Mjolnir 2 headphone amp. These components will be driving the MrSpeakers EtherFlow planar magnetic headphones. Don't forget, though, that both MrSpeakers and Schiit Audio will also have their own individual exhibits in the main gold ballroom exhibit area, where you should be able to find their entire product lines to audition. There you can look for MrSpeakers' new Aeon compact planar magnetic headphone, along with their flagship EtherFlow and the Ether C-Flow planar magnetic models. MrSpeakers will also be showing a new ear pad called the Ether ES pads that I believe were initially developed for the electrostatic headphone, but that Dan Clark of MrSpeakers found worked very nicely with the EtherFlow and the Ether C-Flow. To be clear about these ear pads, the EtherFlow and the Ether C-Flow will continue to ship with the ear pads they've been shipping with, but MrSpeakers will make the Ether ES pads available for sale separately for those who might prefer the sound signature with them, or those who like having a couple different signatures available. At their exhibit in the main gold ballroom area, Schiit Audio will have their complete headphone audio lineup too. We did an entire HeadFi TV episode about the Schiit Jotunheim headphone amp DAC combo, or you can also have it configured as a headphone amp phono pre combo, so make sure to check out that episode of HeadFi TV on this channel. Now just today, I picked up this new Schiit Fulla 2 DAC amp combo, and I can say right away it's a clear improvement over the first generation Fulla, so make sure to check the Fulla 2 out also. One more piece of news for you SoCal folks while we're still talking about Schiit Audio. On April 1st, 2017, Schiit Audio is opening a brick-and-mortar location that they're calling The Schitter, which Schiit Audio is calling their first retail store. No, I'm not kidding. I know it says April 1st, and you're thinking April Fools, but I'm serious. This is really happening. Now, for details and an address, check out the sponsor announcements and deals forum on headfi.org, or also Jason Stoddard's Schiit Happened thread on our forums. At the Schitter, you'll be able to sit down and listen to Schiit Audio's gear in a comfortable place. Expect to be able to hear the whole line on both the headphone and speaker side of things. For the speaker side, there'll be a small listening room with Ragnarok and Yggdrasil, or Saga and Vidar. Now, currently, the speakers they have on hand at the Schitter include the SOC Song 3s and Kef LS50s with a subwoofer. At the Schitter, you'll also be able to pick up Schiit Audio gear you've ordered online, and there'll be free tea and coffee as long as the bag of beans is full and the machine's not broken. The Schitter will be in the middle of Old Town Newhall, where there's other cool stuff to do and visit, and the Schitter will be open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Again, watch HeadFi's homepage and the forums for more details. ZMFheadphones will be showing their latest models, the Atticus and the Icon, both of which are all original dynamic headphones. Zach Merbach from ZMF came and visited HeadFi HQ with prototypes of these headphones some time ago. I was very impressed with what I heard and even what we measured. We'll remeasure production units on the Gros 45 BB12 and publish those measurements soon. Now, the Atticus and Icon are gorgeous headphones, their looks reminding many, myself included, of the legendary Sony MDR R10. Make sure to visit ZMF Headphones to hear the Atticus and Icon, as well as ZMF's planar magnetic headphone models at CanJam SoCal 2017. FiiO will be at CanJam SoCal, and while I encourage you to audition their entire lineup, the FiiO product I'm most excited about is their new X5 Generation 3 portable digital audio player. We covered this player in a little more detail in the CanJam Singapore preview video, so make sure to check out that segment if you're interested. Long story short, though, the FiiO X5 Generation 3 player brings many flagship-class portable player features and specifications, but at a price way below what you'd expect after reading its specs and listening to it. Here's what's amazing about FiiO, though. The X5 Generation 3 is far from the only such value in their broad lineup of products. FiiO continues to push as one of the clear leaders in performance to price ratio, which is why I think they're one of the most important players in this space. Anyway, make sure to listen to as much FiiO as you can at CanJam SoCal. RHA will be joining us at CanJam SoCal, and they'll have their DAC Amp L1 portable DAC and headphone amp with balanced output. It's a dual DAC, dual amp design, and it can decode PCM up to 32384 and DSD to DSD 256. The DAC Amp L1 has single-ended and balanced outputs, USB and optical digital inputs, and a 3.5mm analog input. It also has physical controls to adjust gain, bass, and treble, these tone controls allowing you to turn down bass and treble individually as well as up, and I really like the DAC Amp L1's ability this way to fine-tune tonal balance. Adding to its versatility, the DAC Amp L1 is also MFI certified, so if you're an Apple iDevice user, you don't need the camera connection kit cable to use the DAC Amp L1 as a mobile DAC. While we're on the subject of the DAC Amp L1 at CanJam SoCal, RHA will be giving away a unique laser-etched custom personalized DAC Amp L1. To enter, simply visit RHA at their exhibit during CanJam SoCal, where you can sign up to win. Terms and conditions of the giveaway will be available at the table during sign-up. Make sure to check out RHA's exhibit at CanJam SoCal to hear the DAC Amp L1 and also their complete line of in-ear monitors, including their flagship CL1 ceramic with its ceramic housings and its dual driver design that uses one CL dynamic transducer and one ceramic plate driver per side. In addition to the rest of their amazing family of tube amps, Woo Audio just notified us that they'll be launching a new flagship, fully balanced tube headphone amplifier called the WA33 at CanJam SoCal. Now, they sent us a few photos, but we only have a few other details. I do know that the WA33 will use 4 6C45 driver tubes, 4 2A3 power tubes, and a 274B rectifier. Now, a new flagship amp from Woo is no doubt a must hear, and I must hear it. One of the headphones that they'll be driving with their new Woo Audio WA33 is another CanJam surprise. Woo Audio will have a new improved version of the Abyss headphones AB1266 called the AB1266 Fi. It uses a new magnet inspired and informed by Abyss's work on their upcoming Diana headphone. Efficiency was improved, nominal impedance lowered, and they've also shaved off some weight. Now, I love my AB1266 and its visceral physical presentation, and I can't wait to hear the AB1266 Fi at Woo Audio's exhibit at CanJam SoCal. Lotoo will be at CanJam SoCal, and they'll have their Lotoo Paw Gold reference portable player. This player has an interface that to me is a cross between a piece of pro studio gear and an old school iPod Classic. There's no touchscreen on it, but I find it intuitive anyway. Now, this player is definitely flagship class as far as portable players go and has a big following in our community. Lotoo will also have their more affordable Paw 5000 player at the show, and they'll also have this new Paw Pico compact music player. This Paw Pico is an interesting little piece with 32 gigs of built-in memory, built-in motion sensor for future sport apps, built-in GPS to measure distance traveled, and more. It's made to be worn on an armband for fitness use. Lotoo will also be demoing their gear with the excellent Enigma Acoustics Dharma D1000 dynamic electrostatic hybrid headphone, and also the new Abyss AB1266 Fi. This is just an AB1266, but they'll have the Fi. The Source AV is a SoCal dealer that community members from SoCal are probably well aware of. But just in case you aren't, you should definitely pay them a visit, as they stock a lot of the gear that we love to talk about on HeadFi's forums, and they give you a chance to listen to it. The Source AV will be an exhibitor at CanJam SoCal, and they carry so many brands like Chord, Sennheiser, One More, ZMF, Sony, FoCal, Astell&Kern, Kimber Cable, Cavalli Audio, and so many more that I expect that their CanJam exhibit will be somewhat like a mini multi-brand audio show of its own. Cardas will have their Cardas A8 ear speakers at CanJam SoCal. The Cardas A8s use Cardas's ultralinear contour field dual magnet motor design, has a fantastic balance between smoothness, punchiness, and resolution. This is a headphone that deserves far more attention in our community than it gets. I also like the optional Cardas cable connections available for the A8, including a dual 3.5mm balanced cable and also an optional 2.5mm balanced cable for use with balanced outputs on Astell&Kern and many other premium portable players. Periodic Audio brings a very interesting set of in-ears to the table, and they'll have them at CanJam SoCal. They have 3 models of IEMs that, as I understand it, are essentially exactly the same, except in terms of driver diaphragm material. The 3 models are the MG, which uses a high magnesium content magnesium aluminum alloy diaphragm that Periodic says provides well-damped extended top end. The TI uses pure titanium diaphragms that Periodic says results in low distortion, wide bandwidth, and precision in the bass frequencies. And the BE uses pure beryllium diaphragms, not beryllium coated, but solid beryllium, which Periodic says provides the widest bandwidth and lowest distortion of all the metal diaphragms. We have all 3 models here at HeadFi HQ, and I have a strong preference for one of them, but I won't tell you which one right now. Listen to them for yourself at CanJam SoCal, and let's discuss it on the forums. Sonoma Acoustics will be at CanJam SoCal, and they'll be showing their Sonoma Model 1 electrostatic headphone system. I'm excited about this system for a few reasons. First of all, the team behind it. David Kawakami, John Garrison, Gus Skinnis, Andrew Demery. These guys are all veterans in either music production, recording engineering, analog and digital, professional recording equipment, and they all worked on the SACD product, by the way, and also on DSD as a high-resolution format. And out of that, these guys developed the Sonoma Digital Audio Workstation that's been used to record thousands of SACD titles. Now, secondly, this is an all-in-one digital electrostatic system. DAC, electrostatic amp, DSP, electrostatic headphone, taking the guesswork out of building an electrostatic system. This means the system only works as a whole. The headphones won't work with any other amp, the DAC amp won't work with any other headphones, so some might consider this closed system nature a negative, while others may find it a relief. A key reason why the Model 1 system is a closed system, other than the higher than typical bias voltage, is the fact that it uses custom 64-bit fixed point DSP to digitally process all signals, including the analog inputs if you use them. And this is to achieve a desired frequency response. This is very important for these guys. And the target frequency response is simply described by Sonoma as being more like listening to a pair of flat loudspeakers in a good listening room, or what they're calling a modified pseudo-diffuse field response. I should also mention that the build quality of both the processor amp unit and the headphones appears to me to be outstanding. The headphones use injected magnesium ear cups to contain Warwick Audio Technology's unique HPEL drivers. HPEL stands for High Precision Electrostatic Laminate, by the way. Now, the headband on the headphone and the design in general looks very HD600, HD650-ish to me, which is a good thing. And the ear pads are handmade Cabretta sheepskin, very soft. The processor amp uses a gorgeous CNC machined aluminum chassis to help provide isolation from external interference sources. I'm excited that the Model 1 system is finally out, as the team at Sonoma has been working on it for quite some time, and each time I've auditioned it at shows, beginning with an earlier prototype, it's gotten better and better. Now, this system literally just arrived on our last day of shooting for this video, so my time with it has just begun, but first impressions are very, very promising, and I love the idea of an electrostatic over-ear system, including source, that's small enough to fit on the IKEA bench that I often use as a tiny desk. Definitely stop by Sonoma's exhibit to hear the Sonoma Acoustics Model 1 at CanJam SoCal. 3D audio will fast become a tremendously important area of premium audio as gaming gains even more popularity, and especially as virtual reality and augmented reality evolve. Now, a sense of full immersion with these technologies, the suspension of disbelief, will only be possible if 3D audio also evolves with the visual aspects of these technologies. At CanJam SoCal, we have several exhibitors exhibiting exciting advances in different areas of 3D audio. As you'll see mentioned in the Audeze segment later, Audeze will be bringing their immensely impressive and immersive virtual reality demo that they showed at CES in CanJam, New York. This Audeze VR demo uses custom-developed content by Crytek, and it's amazing, amazing stuff. I've talked about Smyth Research in several videos now, and it's for very good reason. Their Smyth Realizer A16 demo is easily one of the most amazing 3D headphone technology demos I've ever heard. In the CanJam New York video, I went over the Realizer with a bit more detail than I'll be doing here, so make sure to check out that video too. Long story short, Smyth Research sets up a real 7.1.4 channel loudspeaker home theater system. That's 7 surround speakers, a subwoofer, and 4 height channels. Then they'll do a virtual rendering of that room specifically personalized to you, generated through the Smyth Realizer A16. You won't believe you're listening to headphones when they switch between the loudspeakers and the headphones. As I've said before, you can't do much better than they're doing to take headphone sound completely out of your head, because you can't do better than 100% convincing, and that's just about what it is. Now, definitely do the Smyth Realizer A16 demonstration if you can at CanJam SoCal. OSSIC will be at CanJam SoCal showing their upcoming OSSIC X, which they call the world's most advanced 3D audio listening system. Now, I ordered an OSSIC X after listening to it at last year's CanJam SoCal. It's a smart headphone that does the 3D processing within it. It also has head tracking and individual anatomy calibration. The idea being, of course, to capture some degree of your specific head-related transfer function, or HRTF. Now, I believe it uses 4 dynamic drivers per side, and with those drivers, I think they can do unique things like beam forming and directing the sound to specific parts of your ear. OSSIC says the OSSIC X supports stereo, 5.1, 7.1, and beyond. I'm looking forward to hearing it again at CanJam SoCal to see how far they've come since last year, and I look forward to receiving the one that I ordered when they start shipping. Theoretica Applied Physics will be exhibiting at CanJam SoCal and is another of the exhibitors showing exciting 3D audio technology at the show. I met Professor Edgar Choueiri from Theoretica many years ago at a Chesky recording session where he was helping David Chesky with binaural recording and processing. Among other things, Professor Choueiri is chief scientist at Princeton University's Electric Propulsion and Plasma Dynamics Lab, which is a leading research lab in the field of advanced spacecraft propulsion. Yes, for all intents and purposes, Edgar is a rocket scientist. Now, perhaps most relevant to this discussion is that he's also the director of Princeton University's 3D Audio and Applied Acoustics Lab. Theoretica's purpose is to bring recent advances in 3D audio from the research lab to the real world, and as we cover more and more 3D audio on HeadFi, and we'll have a lot to talk about with Professor Choueiri on an ongoing basis. Now, at CanJam SoCal, Theoretica is going to be featuring their new Bach BM, or Bach binaural microphone. Now, this Gros Kimar 45BB12 mannequin is actually wearing the Bach BM, and I'm going to explain in just a second why you can barely see them. Well, anyways, the Bach BM is a product of 2 years of R&D, and the idea behind these microphones is to be small enough to go deep enough into the ear canals to capture the spectral cues of the entire pinna. This allows you to produce binaural recordings that are spatially accurate. Now, because the microphone capsules have to be so small to fit in the canals, they require advanced audio engineering methods and precision microfabrication techniques to produce. Now, you can see here how small the microphones are. They're tiny. You can see just how tiny the microphone is when I pull one of them out of Kimar's ear. And it doesn't have to go, of course, into a mannequin's ear. You can put it in human ears as well to capture the spectral cues of any human's pinna as well. Now, they're also more than just small. According to Theoretica, Bach-BM also offers the highest signal-to-noise ratio and sensitivity of any microphone its size. They're each individually calibrated and equalized to generate a flat frequency response from 20 Hz to 30 kHz, and every Bach-BM ships with custom equalization filters and calibration files. As you can imagine, they're not inexpensive, but with the Bach-BM, the possibility of making studio-quality binaural recordings is now at hand. As you can imagine, these microphones are not inexpensive, but with the Bach-BM, the possibility of making studio-quality, high-resolution binaural recordings is at hand. Theoretica will be doing live 3D sound demonstrations with the Bach-BM microphone at CanJam SoCal, so make sure to stop by and hear it for yourself. Hi guys, here at HeadFi HQ, we had a special visitor today, Evan Grimm from Audeze. So while he was here, I asked him if he'd tell you what they're going to be showing at CanJam SoCal.
Hello, I'm Evan. I'm head of product training at Audeze. I'd like to thank the folks here at HeadFi for having me today. As Jude mentioned, I'll be walking you through what to check out at our booth at CanJam SoCal 2017. In addition to our flagship LCD series, EL8 lineup, Science Series headphones, we will be displaying the world's first in-ear planar magnetic iSign 10 and iSign 20 headphones, as well as our new iSign VR headset. The iSign VR headphones will be plugged into an HTC Vive headset and will be playing a video designed by our friends at Crytek. The iSign VR kit comes with an HTC Vive and Oculus Rift cable. It's a great immersive VR experience that is using the processing on the headset to channel audio based off where you look. We encourage you to take a seat to experience it firsthand. Also at the booth will be our new Apple exclusive, iSign Black Steel, launching at Apple stores worldwide May 16th. It will be exactly like the iSign 10, but the grille will be silver in color versus our standard black. Alright, in addition to our newer Sign closeback on-ear model, at this show you'll definitely want to check out our new Sign Deluxe, which will be open back. Unlike the current Sign closeback model, which really targeted the Apple and on-the-go customers, our purpose here is to target customers who want the best sound quality for an on-ear headphone. It delivers a different sound than the Sign closed. It's a little bit more efficient, has extended bass response flat to about 15 Hz versus the 20 to 25 Hz with the closeback. Mid-range is also going to be tuned a bit differently. This product will be on a limited run and it'll be available in about 2 to 3 weeks through our private lounge. Alright, thanks again to HeadFi for having me today, and be sure to stop by our booth and check out our iSign 10, 20, Black Steel, our iSign VR experience, and Sign Deluxe at CanJam SoCal 2017.
Attention exhibitors, DIYers, and audio enthusiasts, Audio Precision will be offering as a free service during CanJam SoCal audio measurements. So, right at CanJam SoCal, you'll be able to test your equipment, headphones, DACs, amplifiers, etc. with high-performance audio analyzers, and also to consult with one of their audio test experts. They'll have an Audio Precision APX 515 audio analyzer setup, along with their new APX 1701 transducer test interface, and also microphones for headphone measurements. The APX 1701 can drive headphones and even loudspeakers with dedicated amplifiers. It enables easy impedance measurements, and it can also provide power to measurement microphones and microphones under test. The APX 1701's functions integrate with the APX 500 audio measurement software and the APX analyzers. They'll also have Audio Precision's flagship, the APX 555 audio analyzer, to measure anything with low noise floors, like precision DACs and amps, for example. We have an Audio Precision APX 555 here at HeadFi HQ, as you can see. We're increasingly employing it to do more and more measurements. Now, the APX 555 has the lowest residual THD+N of any analyzer available. It can do jitter generation and analysis, has 1 MHz bandwidth, does up to 1.2 million point FFTs, and so much more. It's an incredible analyzer, and with it, AP will be able to measure your amps, your DACs, your amp DACs, and more, right at CanJam SoCal. After your measurements are done, Audio Precision will provide you with a flash drive with a report of the results, plus the APX project file used to create the report. Now, whether you're a DIYer or hobbyist who's just curious, or a manufacturer interested in seeing how your products measure up, make sure to visit Audio Precision's exhibits at Atrium 2 and Gold Ballroom 31. Noble Audio will be at CanJam SoCal, and they're also one of the event sponsors, so thanks to Noble for their continued support, which helps make CanJam possible globally. Now, Just like Astell&Kern redefined what premium digital audio players would look like for years to come, Noble Audio, in my opinion, did the very same with custom in-ear monitors. When it comes to crafting the most intricately designed art piece custom in-ear monitors, I don't think even their competitors would argue that Noble Audio is the high specialist in that area. Noble's founder, John Moulton, affectionately referred to in our community as the Wizard, is always striving to create pieces that not only sound fantastic, but that look like nothing else on the market or nothing else on the planet. This Noble Prestige Custom remains one of my favorite custom in-ear monitors for its unique flavor of detailed warmth and smoothness that I can listen to for hours at a time. That the fit on these in my ears happens to be perfect only helps for long-term listening. As you can also see, these Noble Prestige IEMs of mine also look gorgeous and entirely unique, as no two Prestige Customs look the same. Instead of beginning with a liquid medium, which is how almost all custom in-ears are made, Noble's Prestige Customs are crafted chiefly from solid artistic mediums, including exotic woods, dyed woods, carbon glass, weaves, knits, aluminum composites, other materials and combinations of all of those things. These are made of red acrylic in Rosso Corsa color with Australian Coolibah burl wood, somehow made to look like they're swirled together. Custom IEMs aren't all you'll be able to hear from Noble at the show, as they also make universal fit versions of their monitors, like their co-flagship IEMs, the Katana and the Kaiser Encore, the latter being the successor to their previous flagship Kaiser K10. They'll also have the rest of their lineup there too, like the Django, the Dulce Bass, Sage, Savannah, and Trident. Make sure to stop by Noble's exhibit to look at, and most importantly to listen to, Noble Audio's many works of audio art. Amps and Sound will be exhibiting at CanJam SoCal. Here's what I like about Amps and Sound. Some audiophiles say that tube amps should not sound bloomy, warm, romantic. I disagree. That's exactly how tube amps should sound some of the time, and Amps and Sound seems to agree with that. Anyway, not all their amps sound the same, so they're different signatures. Make sure to go by their exhibits so that you can hear them all. They'll have the Mogwai single-ended ZFB tube headphone speaker amp, the Agartha, that's their single-ended 300B tube headphone and speaker amp, the Kenzie Encore and the Kenzie. They'll be using MrSpeakers headphones at their exhibit as well. This is my Amps and Sound Kenzie amp, and again, I love the way it sounds because it sounds to me like an old-fashioned tube amp, and again, sometimes that's exactly what I want. Make sure to stop by Amps and Sound at CanJam SoCal. Audio-Technica will be at CanJam SoCal 2017, and if I had to pick a highlight from their extensive line, it would definitely be their latest wireless headphones, the Audio-Technica ATH DSR-7BT and their new flagship ATH DSR-9BT. Why? Well, they're the most audiophile-sounding Bluetooth headphones I've yet heard. I haven't found most Bluetooth headphones to be purist in nature. They're often laden with features, things like active noise canceling, pass-through audio, and other things I want or even need for certain situations like when I'm traveling, but features I typically do not want when I'm sitting at a desk or at home. And even those Bluetooth headphones that are simpler in nature are usually tuned with a more consumer-friendly, street-friendly sound signature, typically a heavier tonal balance or a V-shaped tonal balance. However, Audio-Technica with these two models have crafted wireless headphones that are definitely tuned primarily as audiophile-friendly, high-resolution wireless headphones. Audio-Technica calls the technology inside both models Pure Digital Drive. It uses Trigent Semiconductor's D-Note chipsets. This allows these headphones to operate without traditional digital to analog conversion. How? Well, look up the technology, especially if you're an AES member with access to their papers, as it's very interesting stuff. In addition to the Pure Digital Drive technology, both models also have aptX HD as well as standard aptX AAC and SBC. I've found pairing these headphones with the LG V20 smartphone, which has aptX HD, is a lovely sounding thing to do. Now with Astell&Kern's latest models with aptX HD, the results are even more impressive and make for as good a wireless portable audiophile system as I've yet heard. Both models offer a tonal balance that, while not perfectly flat, which I wouldn't want them to be anyway, sounds more linear than any other premium Bluetooth headphones I've listened to. Now, of these two models, the flagship ATH DSR-9BT is definitely more resolving, with more extended present-sounding treble and better, wider imaging. The ATH DSR-9BT uses diamond-like carbon-coated driver diaphragms and is also more impressively built than its sibling. Now, if you can't spring for the ATH DSR-9BT, though, the ATH DSR-7BT provides an admirable imitation of its flagship sibling for just over half the price. Now, the only wireless headphones I've heard that sound as good as these are home wireless models with base stations, like Sennheiser's discontinued RS-220 and their current RS-185. If the freedom of audiophile quality wireless sound interests you, make sure to stop by Audio-Technica's exhibit to hear the ATH DSR-7BT and the ATH DSR-9BT for yourself, in addition to Audio-Technica's many other wired headphone models. Chord Electronics will be at CanJam SoCal, and they'll be showing the new Chord Poly, which is the new companion piece to the Mojo that expands the Mojo's functionality with sophisticated, custom, built-in software and a built-in data server, DLNA receiver, AirPlay functionality, Wi-Fi hub, Bluetooth module, and microSD card reader player functionality. In the CanJam New York preview video a couple of months ago, I gave a demo of how I used and plan to continue using the Chord Mojo Poly combination in the role of portable digital audio player, so check out the CanJam New York preview video segment about that. Chord will also have their new Hugo 2 DAC amp combo. We traded the CES prototype for a more recent one at CanJam Singapore, and substantial improvements to an already amazing little DAC amp were accomplished in that time between. The sound improved, the measurements improved, the functionality improved, and now they've reached production status on the Hugo 2, and one of the first production spec units is on its way to HiFi HQ. Rob Watts, designer of the Chord Hugo 2, who many of you know from his posts on the forums, he posted measurements of one of the earlier prototypes. Now, I ran measurements here on our Audio Precision APX 555 of the Singapore unit, this one right here, and this Hugo 2 measured even more impressively than the one Rob posted on HiFi. I think the Hugo 2 will serve as my main DAC amp in both desktop and portable roles. Simply put, it's incredible, and as I've said before, Hugo 2 is the closest thing currently available to the concept of the flagship Chord Dave in miniature. Speaking of the Chord Dave, it will be at CanJam SoCal and remains the current reference DAC here at HiFi HQ. Definitely make sure to stop by the Chord exhibit, plug your favorite headphones into the Chord Dave at CanJam SoCal, whether they're in-ears, planars, dynamics. It's an incredible DAC amp combo. Also look for the new Chord Electronics Blue Mark II upscaling CD transport, which when used with the Chord Dave enables a 1 million plus tap length. Since CES, Chord has taken the feedback they've received largely from headfires around the world, and they've added USB input to the Blue Mark II. I gave it another audition at CanJam Singapore with my own music through the USB input, and also for the first time with headphones on, and I have a feeling the Chord exhibit will be among my very first stops at CanJam SoCal, as I want to do that again as soon as possible. Make sure to stop by and visit Chord Electronics at CanJam SoCal 2017 to listen to their entire lineup. Focal will be exhibiting at CanJam SoCal, and they're also one of the sponsors of the event. So thank you, Focal, for your support of the event as a sponsor, which helps make CanJam possible. Now, around 10 months ago, we recorded an entire episode of HeadFi TV about the Focal Eliar and the Utopia. Now, it's a very close look at and inside these very intriguing, outstanding headphones, including seeing how their innovative drivers work, how they move. So look for that video on our channel here. Now, even though we did that HeadFi TV episode around 10 months ago, there are still many of you who have yet to hear the Eliar and the Utopia, and Focal will, of course, have both of their flagship headphones available to audition at CanJam SoCal. Now, at the last two CanJams in New York and Singapore, Focal's exhibits were very busy, and when you hear them for yourself, you'll understand why. Focal will also be showing its portable closed-back headphone called the Focal Listen. This is a spiritual successor of their Spirit line of headphones, and even if you consider it as an extension of that Spirit line, I think the Listen is the best sounding of the family, and it's also built more durably. Also look for Focal's affordable Focal Sphere in-ear monitor, which is a very good all-rounder IEM for the price and with lovely Focal build quality. I'm not sure why it doesn't get more attention in the community. I think it definitely deserves it. Listen to it for yourself at CanJam SoCal. Tell me what you think, and also make sure to audition the Focal Eliar, Utopia, and the Listen at CanJam SoCal 2017. Sony will be at CanJam SoCal, and since I'm on the subject of Sony, let's start with a huge piece of technology news for audiophiles. I'm talking about something called LDAC. LDAC is a Sony audio coding technology for the transmission of high-resolution audio up to 2496 without down conversion, wirelessly over Bluetooth. Now, why is this big news? Well, Google just released a developer preview of Android O, the next version of Android, and the Android O developer preview includes direct support for Sony's LDAC codec. Now, after losing the headphone jack on my iPhone 7 Plus and seeing LDAC support in the next version of Android, it does have me thinking. Anyway, Sony's new signature series Walkman models, the NW-WM1A and the flagship NW-WM1Z, also support LDAC. And Sony's outstanding MDR-1000X headphone is my new wireless travel headphone of choice, canceling more noise than any other active noise canceling headphone I've used, and sounding excellent while doing that. And it also supports LDAC. High-res Walkman with LDAC, wireless noise canceling headphone with LDAC. I travel a lot, connect the dots. When I walk city streets alone, this system wirelessly pipes high-res recordings to my ears and quiets the din of the city. So when I'm on the go, these are great companions to have together. Anyway, to say I'm excited to see Android supporting LDAC in the near future is an understatement. Now, in addition to LDAC, Sony's new Signature Series Walkman models are fully balanced audiophile portable players, designed with an adherence to many purist audiophile principles and in many ways deliberately designed more like desktop components internally, which is one reason they're not the smallest portable players on the market. But desktop sound on the go is why the NWWM1Z has accompanied me just about everywhere for months now. Definitely stop by Sony's exhibit to hear these LDAC-enabled Walkmans and the MDR1000X, but also to hear Sony's complete Signature Series audio line, which includes some of the very best audio components Sony has ever made, including the Sony MDR Z1R flagship closed-back headphones and the TA-ZH1ES desktop DAC amp combo. Sennheiser will be at CanJam SoCal 2017, and they'll be bringing the venerable $55,000 Sennheiser electrostatic HE1 system. I can't think of another headphone system that stirs more curiosity and desire to hear it than the new HE1. As I've said before, it's the best headphone system I've yet heard, and the number of people agreeing with that sentiment increases with each opportunity for public auditions. The Sennheiser HE1 listening sessions at CanJam SoCal are by appointment only, and by the time we get this episode of HeadFi TV up, I'm guessing all the slots might be gone, but make sure to check the CanJam SoCal thread on HeadFi to be sure. Of course, Sennheiser will have more than just the lifestyles of the rich and famous HE1 at CanJam SoCal. Make sure to also listen to the HD800 and the HD800S. They're still two of the very best electrodynamic headphones on the market, in my opinion. Check out their new Sennheiser HD500 series headphones, the HD559, 569, 579, and 599, and you frequent travelers would do very well to audition their latest generation active noise canceling Sennheiser PXE550 that's also wireless. Anyway, definitely make sure to check out Sennheiser's exhibits at CanJam SoCal 2017. Echobox is exhibiting at CanJam SoCal and is also one of the sponsors of the event, so thank you very much to Echobox for helping make CanJam SoCal possible. At CanJam SoCal, Echobox will be showing their long-anticipated digital audio player, the Echobox Explorer. I know many of you have been waiting a long time for your Explorers, and the good news is that they've started shipping. Now, as you can see in the photos, the Explorer's contoured body is made of genuine hardwood with a few different wood choices available. The Explorer runs open-source Android 6.0 Marshmallow OS, no custom UI, only Android OS, with a rooted Android kernel to allow full lossless 24/192 playback through all apps. The Explorer features Tidal and a customized USB Audio Player Pro as stock music programs. Speaking of Tidal, the Explorer comes with 3 months of complimentary Tidal Hi-Fi service. In terms of storage, the Explorer has 64 gig internal storage and a microSD expansion slot for up to 256 gigs of additional storage. For outputs, the Explorer has a 3.5mm headphone jack as well as mini Toslink optical output. Its DAC is based on the Texas Instruments Burr Brown PCM 1792. The Explorer's Wi-Fi connectivity supports 802.11a, B, G, and N. It has Bluetooth 3.0 and also has DLNA. As far as digital audio players go, the Echobox Explorer is a high-output device for more challenging to drive headphones with a powerful 300 milliwatt peak output. Again, it's exciting that the Echobox Explorer is now shipping to pre-order customers, and I can't wait to finally hear a production-class Explorer at CanJam SoCal 2017, as I didn't have a chance to do so at CanJam Singapore. Make sure to stop by Echobox's exhibit at CanJam SoCal 2017 to hear the Echobox Explorer digital audio player, and also Echobox's in-ear monitors, the popular Echobox Finder, the brand new Echobox Traveler, and the new flagship Echobox Nomad IEMs. We went over their IEMs in a little more detail in the CanJam New York preview video a couple of months ago, so make sure to check that out if you want to hear a little more about them. Better yet, just go listen to them at CanJam SoCal. AudioQuest will be showing their AudioQuest Nighthawk Carbon headphone, which is the latest version of their first generation semi-open back Nighthawk. Now, it seems to me that the goal with the Nighthawk Carbon was to make refinements to the Nighthawk, to its fit, its finish, and of course, its sound. For me, though, their new closed-back AudioQuest Night Owl Carbon is their biggest show highlight. Again, it's a closed-back, but great care was given to controlling resonance with the Night Owl Carbon, and Skylar Gray devised a unique venting mechanism for it that they're calling aperiodic venting, which helped them to achieve their sonic goal of maintaining a sense of openness while still providing excellent isolation from outside noise. AudioQuest will also be showing off their new headphone stand called the Perch. Now, the Perch was designed to distribute the headphone's weight across the entire head pad. This preserves the headphone's structural integrity by not placing stress on the headband. It's also designed to allow for one-handed access of the headphone on and off. We ordered a bunch of the Perch headphone stands, and we have them all over the office here. Make sure to also stop and hear AudioQuest's popular Dragonfly DAC amps. They recently announced that owners of the Dragonfly Black and the Dragonfly Red will soon be able to update their units to support hardware rendering of MQA. Now, as the owner of both, as someone who's been enjoying MQA a lot since Tidal started streaming it, I'm really excited about this. Anyway, make sure to check out AudioQuest's exhibit to check out the Nighthawk Carbon, the Night Owl Carbon, the Perch headphone stand, and the Dragonfly DAC amps. HiFiMAN will be at CanJam SoCal, and they'll have their mighty electrostatic Shangri-La system there to audition. The Shangri-La is intended to compete with the Sennheiser HE1, which will also be at the show, so make sure to stop by HiFiMAN's exhibit to hear what I feel is one of the two best headphones I've yet heard. I can't think of an over-ear headphone that sounds better directly from my smartphone than the highly efficient planar magnetic HiFiMAN Edition X version 2. The Edition X version 2 also scales to even more impressive performance from better systems. Make sure to listen to this one at CanJam SoCal. According to HiFiMAN, the upcoming RE2000 Universal Fit IEM has undergone significant improvements since this CES prototype we have here, so I'm really looking forward to hearing it now, as this prototype is already fantastic. HiFiMAN will also have their upcoming flagship planar magnetic headphone, the Susvara. This was previously codenamed Edition 6. Now this here is an Edition 6 prototype from CES. I briefly heard a revised Susvara at CanJam Singapore, and it improved on what was already an outstanding prototype. It looks rather different now too, as they've gotten closer to the production design and build. Now, until the Susvara is released, the current HE1000 version 2 remains the HiFiMAN flagship planar magnetic headphone, and that's always worth a listen. Stop by HiFiMAN's exhibit at CanJam SoCal to hear everything I just mentioned and more. JDS Labs will be at CanJam SoCal, and I love what these guys are doing. Their story started several years ago, their first product being a CMOI headphone amp with bass boost. Some years later, they really hit their stride, building and selling amps and DACs based on NWAV Guy's Objective 2 and Objective DAC designs, more commonly known as the O2 and O DAC. It's probably safe to say the Objective line is what JDS is best known for. What some in the community may not realize is that the team at JDS Labs has since engineered several products intended to deliver performance far beyond the Objective lines. Beautiful examples of this include their latest products like the Element DAC Amp Combo and these separates, the EL DAC and the EL Amp. I know JDS Labs prides themselves on their meticulous design, circuit engineering, and build quality. Now, of course, sound quality is of paramount importance to them, but they in large part achieve that through careful engineering and measurements. Now, speaking of measurements, they're understandably proud of their measured performance of their products, and they publish some of the more detailed product specifications I've seen in the industry. I know the guys at JDS Labs enough to trust their measurements, and in fact, I've been talking to them and they've been helpful as we were building our measurement lab here. Anyway, even though I trust JDS Labs measurements, since we have an audio precision analyzer here, I thought it would be fun to measure the EL amp and the EL DAC here, and you're looking at some of my measurements of them now. Beyond just the measurements, again, the sound quality of their latest line is superb, especially considering the affordable pricing. I've been using the EL DAC EL amp combo, and despite the fact that the EL amp has 30-volt rails and peak output in excess of 1.5 watts, which means it can comfortably drive most headphones, it's still dead quiet enough to use with my most sensitive in-ears. In terms of fit and finish, JDS Labs metalwork on the Element and the EL DAC and EL amp is beautiful and all crafted in-house. Also, the controls feel excellent, especially the giant volume knob that turns with such smoothness and weight it feels like a precision flywheel. Now make sure to visit JDS Labs at CanJam SoCal and check out their entire line, but especially their Element and the EL DAC and EL amp. Beyerdynamic will be at CanJam SoCal, and if I had to pick a single product of theirs that I'd recommend you definitely don't miss at their exhibit, I'd say start with their new Zalento remote in-ear monitor. Now, after developing the AK-T8IE in-ear monitor with Astell&Kern, Beyerdynamic decided to release another Tesla-driven earphone in a nearly identical form factor, which is a good move since it's among the most easy to insert, most comfortable universal fit IEMs I've used. Now, of course, the Zalento remote is packaged uniquely, including a cable with inline remote and mic, in addition to a plain cable for purists. It also comes with an obscenely thorough collection of ear tips, which you can see here, and my favorite is the one that comes installed on it, the medium-sized Darth Vader helmet silicone tips, which are impossibly supple and which I find comfortable for hours of listening at a time. Of course, the most important difference between the Zalento remote and the AK-T8IE is the sound signature. In terms of sound, choosing between the two is going to come down to personal preferences. For the Zalento remote, Beyerdynamic offers a more linear sounding, more sparkly sound signature than the smoother signatured AK-T8IE. In Beyerdynamic's line, the Zalento remote is my favorite of their headphones and another great example of how far single driver IEM performance has come in the last few years. Make sure to stop by Beyerdynamic's exhibit to hear their entire line of headphones, but especially the Zalento remote. 64 Audio will be at CanJam SoCal, and they'll be showing their entire lineup. They recently sent us loaners of the U18 Czar and the TIA Forte, their two flagship universal fit models. They arrived rather late in shooting though, so I didn't get to spend much time with them before we started shooting. So the 64 Audio U18 Czar is the first universal fit earphone with 18 balanced armature drivers per ear. Now, how they were able to pack 8 low, 8 mid, 1 high mid, and 1 TIA high driver into such a compact chassis is completely beyond me. Now, I want to explain TIA TIA before I continue. TIA stands for Tubeless In-Ear Audio, and the TIA driver is an open balanced armature. Now, I haven't seen this done before, but what they're doing is opening up the balanced armature enclosure, exposing the diaphragm to directly radiate. They say this configuration eliminates the need for conventional sound tubes and dampers. The U18 ZAR loaner they sent us sounds very good. The 18 driver's sounding is one, so kudos to 64 for that. The bass is impactful, the mid's neutral, the treble incisive. Now, given how late they arrived, again, I didn't get much time with either piece and spent less time with the U18 ZAR than the TIA Forte. I'll try to spend more time with the U18 at CanJam SoCal if I can. Though I didn't get much time with the TIA Forte before shooting either, I did give it more time than the U18 ZAR. From the outset, it simply made a better first impression to me, perhaps simply being more in line with my personal sound preferences. The TIA Forte is the top flagship in the 64 audio line and is very expensive for a universal fit in-ear. That said, it's also one of the very best universal fit in-ears I've yet heard at any price. The TIA Forte's driver complement is one electrodynamic low, one TIA mid, one high mid, and one TIA high driver per side. So that's 4 drivers per side if you lost count. Now, this is an IEM I want to spend more time with in the future for sure. The sound is rich in tone and detail, and the imaging is big and, more importantly, cohesive. Again, it may be very expensive, but the TIA Forte is a very special piece. Make sure you hear the 64 audio TIA Forte as well as the U18 ZAR and the rest of their line at the 64 audio exhibit at CanJam SoCal. V-MODA will be at CanJam SoCal 2017. They were just here at HeadFi HQ introducing a few new products. We recorded some HeadFi TV episodes about them, so for details, make sure to watch those HeadFi TV episodes. This is the brand new V-MODA Crossfade 2 wireless over-ear. I think it is the best sounding over-ear headphone that V-MODA has yet done. They just happen to be wireless. They're beautiful to look at, as you can see. That's the matte white version. This is the rose gold version. This is the new V-MODA Remix Bluetooth speaker. It's a customizable Bluetooth speaker. There are many options to customize its appearance. Again, watch our HeadFi TV episode about it so you can see more about that. It also has a built-in headphone amp, and it's a good headphone amp. So this is nice. I travel a lot, and I like to bring a Bluetooth speaker with me to some of the hotels that I go to if I know I'm going to be there for a while. It's nice to know that I can bring a Bluetooth speaker and a good headphone amp with me in one package. V-MODA will also have the Forza Metallo in-ear, but the one you really want to look for, in my opinion, the brand new Forza Metallo wireless in-ear. To me, the wireless Forza Metallo is voiced to be perhaps the best sounding from an audiophile standpoint, the best sounding V-MODA headphone, whether over-ear or in-ear, in my opinion. It's also water resistant, so you can run with it in the rain or sweat all over it, which I really like. So definitely look for the Forza Metallo wireless at the V-MODA exhibit at CanJam SoCal. THX will be at CanJam SoCal, and they'll be showing their THX AAA headphone amplifier technology. Now, THX will be licensing out their AAA headphone amp technology, not selling it directly to consumers. And there are 6 variations of it, including this flagship variant called the 888, which is a mono amplifier, so this stereo amp here is 2 888s strapped together. This is the 38, which is a lower power variant, which I believe will be one of a few different lower power versions of the AAA available in chip form. The THX AAA uses a patented feed-forward error correction topology to cancel conventional distortion mechanisms, and THX has been making very bold claims about it. THX claims that it has infinitesimally low noise and distortion, saying its performance approaches the performance of the world's best audio analyzer, the Audio Precision APX 555. Now, since we have an Audio Precision APX 555 here at the office, we decided to measure the AAA 888 variant, and as claimed by THX, in terms of noise floor and distortion, the AAA measured better by a significant margin than any other headphone amplifier we've yet measured in these regards. Now, keep in mind, these AAA test boards I have here have the advantage of being fixed gain without any potentiometers or any other type of volume control incorporated, but still, THX's AAA amps have incredible measured noise and distortion with gobs of measured performance headroom to spare. Now, of the 2 types of AAA amps we have here, I've spent more time with the dual 888 board, the flagship. And if you're wondering if it sounds as good as it measures, I'd say the answer is yes. It has impressive drive, enough to push just about any non-electrostatic headphone you'd want to use with it. And as the measurements suggest, it's dead quiet with even the most sensitive IEMs we have here. So what we have here might be the world's best measuring headphone amplifiers, and if you're curious to know how they sound with your favorite headphones, make sure to stop by THX's exhibit with your favorite headphones and give them a listen with the THX AAA amps. I have a feeling a lot of products will be incorporating the AAA amps in them in the coming months and years. Acoustic Research will be at CanJam SoCal showing their portable digital audio players and a new planar magnetic headphone. Now this is the Acoustic Research ARM2, and while the ARM2 has been around a little while, it's still a solid choice at its price. With its Burr Brown PCM 1794A DAC, it'll decode PCM up to 24192. It'll also decode DSD up to DSD 128. On the analog side, its headphone amplifier is Class A, and according to Stereophile, it outputs 319 milliwatts into 16 ohms and 248 into 32, which is quite brawny for a portable player. I want to also mention its screen, which is 5 inches. That is as large a display as I've seen on a high-end portable digital audio player, and I really like that. In AR's lineup, though, I actually prefer the newer ARM20. It draws from the ARM2's audio-centric platform, but it's much more compact, very thin. It feels great in the hand, and the attached leather cover on this one protects the screen while adding very little thickness, so it remains pocketable even with the cover. I find the ARM20's lower noise floor is also more IEM friendly than the ARM2, though its Class AB amp doesn't have quite the maximum drive the M2 has. As I said earlier, Acoustic Research will also be showing a new planar magnetic headphone called the AR-H1. It's open back, and AR claims it's a high-efficiency design that can be used with mobile devices, and it has a neutral tonal bounce according to them. I haven't heard the AR-H1 yet, so if you beat me to it, let me know what you think of it. Make sure to check out the ARM2 and ARM20 players and the AR-H1 planar magnetic headphone at the Acoustic Research exhibit at CanJam SoCal. We've had the One More quad driver IEM here since CanJam New York a couple of months ago. It's perhaps the strongest indicator that One More is looking to prove that they can extend their outstanding performance to price ratio to compete with more premium priced audiophile in-ear monitors. To my ears, they've done a fantastic job with the quad driver. It's a hybrid design with a single dynamic driver that's diamond-like carbon coated with 3 balanced armatures. It's highly engineered audiophile value, and I really dig them a lot. Make sure to check out the One More exhibit to hear the quad driver in-ear headphones. They're immensely popular triple driver in-ears. They're high-value wireless headphones like the IB-free Bluetooth in-ear sport headphones and their MK802 Bluetooth over-ear headphones, both of which have Bluetooth 4.1 with aptX and the rest of the One More line too. Last month at CanJam Singapore, I finally had a chance to hear Brainwavz Audio's in-ear monitors, and I was surprised with the response every time I listened and then asked, how much are these? After listening to the $60 Brainwavz B100, which is a single armature per side design, to their flagship dual armature per side B200, which is priced under $200, I finally understood completely why their IEMs have been getting rave reviews in the HeadFi forums. To offer such high value, the Brainwavz B100, B150, and B200 IEMs have captive, non-detachable cables, but that also has the added benefit of not needing to accommodate cable jacks in the earpieces, meaning they're very compact, comfortable in-ears. Brainwavz has a broad family of products, but I'd start with their B-Series IEMs at their exhibit at CanJam SoCal. Effect Audio's audio cables are very popular in Asia, with some companies even partnering with them to include and feature Effect Audio's cables with their products. Now, in addition to the Effect Audio Leonidas Gold-Silver conductor cable I've upgraded my Noble Prestige IEMs with, I've also been using Effect Audio's Aries 2 Plus 4-wire cable with the Audeze LCD-X and the Thor Silver 2 Plus 8-wire cable with the flagship Audeze LCD-4. Now, if you've been considering upgrade cables for your Audeze LCDs, or really almost any other premium headphone for that matter, Effect Audio's cables should be on your audition list. We've been impressed with their sound, their fantastic materials and quality of build, and their value relative to the competitors. I have a feeling we'll be seeing Effect Audio making an equally impactful presence in the audio markets here in the Western markets as they have in Asia. Definitely stop by Effect Audio's exhibit to see what cable upgrade options they have for your favorite headphones and earphones. Empire Ears will be at CanJam SoCal with their entire IEM lineup, universal and custom fit, both with and without Adele modules. At CanJam New York, I heard the Zeus XR, which is an IEM that lets you choose between Empire Ears' 2 flagship models, the Zeus 14 and the Zeus R, with just a flip of a switch, and for only $300 more than either of those individual flagships priced alone. There's always so much to hear at Empire Ears exhibit, but the 2 flagships in one Zeus XR should be on your must-hear list for CanJam SoCal 2017. Final will have their full line, including their new ultra-tiny F-Series balanced armature IEMs, the F3100, the F4100, and the flagship of that family, the F7200. As I've said before, of the 3, I actually prefer the middle model, the F4100, for its fuller sound. Make sure to also hear their flagship balanced armature IEM, the Final FiiBA SST, which uses their single-driver networkless direct connection circuit design. This new model is a revision of their popular FiiBA SS, and it's such a good all-rounder that I think it may be the product that shows Final can have broad appeal far beyond the Japanese market Esoterica they're perhaps best known for. Now, the FiiBA SST presents bigger sound than one might expect from such a compact single-driver design, so make sure to hear it at Final's exhibit. I think when you do, you'll understand why it's my favorite headphone by Final so far. So this is new product launch news. The Bit will be launching a new digital audio player at CanJam SoCal called the Opus No. 3. Now, I haven't yet used the Opus No. 3, but I do know that it will slot between the Opus No. 1 and the flagship Opus No. 2 in their product lineup. Its DAC is built around a Burr Brown chipset with a separate XMOS chip to natively play back DSD up to DSD 256. The Opus No. 3 will be able to act as a USB DAC for both PCM and DSD decoding and should also work as a DAC even for mobile devices. It'll have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.0. Some streaming applications are supported. I know Spotify is supported. The Opus No. 3 also supports DLNA and Wi-Fi streaming. Its volume control has 150 steps. The screen is a 4-inch TFT IPS touch panel, and it comes with 64 gigs of internal storage, and they're saying that 128 gigs is listed as optional. And it has a microSD card slot for further storage expansion. Make sure to check out the new Opus No. 3 digital audio player at CanJam SoCal, along with the Bit's other players, the Opus No. 1 and their flagship Opus No. 2, which I also dig a lot. At CES this year, Blue unveiled a couple of new headphones that offer substantial improvements over their previous models. Now, continuing with their multi-jointed headband design, they've made substantial improvements to comfort and fit with their latest models. Now, this is the Blue Sadie. This new Sadie is what I'd call the next generation Blue MoFi, with refined sound and a more comfortable fit than its predecessor. Now, what most people didn't know about the MoFi was that it contained an internal transparent audiophile quality amp designed largely by FiiO. Now, in the Sadie, Blue continues with the built-in transparent audiophile amp concept. Of most interest to headfires will no doubt be Blue's new Ella headphone, which uses planar magnetic drivers. Containing the same headband comfort and fit refinement that the Sadie has, the Ella brings planar magnetic drivers to the table, and it results in what is easily Blue's best headphone to date, and one I definitely recommend you check out at CanJam SoCal. The sound signature is more neutral, more studio monitor-like than Blue's other models, and I can see the Ella being successful in that role, especially considering Blue's reputation in the studio world with their professional microphones. Now, like the Sadie, the Ella has a built-in internal amp, but this one is specially designed to drive Ella's planar magnetic drivers. And whereas I rarely engage the well-implemented bass boost option on Blue's Sadie, which has a richer sound to begin with, it's something I'll gladly use at times with the more neutral Ella. This dual signature nature of the Ella with a more linear sound signature as a starting point makes it an excellent novel headphone that you must check out at CanJam. Blue will also be showing their upcoming satellite wireless headphone. It's their first Bluetooth headphone, and they're first to depart from their multi-jointed headband design for something more compact and foldable. Now, perhaps most interesting to me is that the satellite employs a proprietary active noise-canceling design. It uses dedicated ANC drivers and a multi-driver configuration. In other words, each ear cup uses two separate drivers, one for music and one for ANC, as opposed to one driver doing both, and Blue says this avoids having to compromise sound quality to achieve active noise cancellation. Like Blue's other headphones, the Satellite uses an audiophile quality analog amplifier that can be switched off if desired for wired use. For wireless use, the Satellite has Bluetooth 4.1 with aptX. The Blue Satellite is a headphone I want to spend a lot more time with in the future, especially to see how it fares as a travel headphone. Given my experience with Blue so far, I have high hopes and confidence. Make sure to stop by Blue's exhibit to hear the Sadie, the planar magnetic Ella, and the wireless Satellite. Well, I told you that was going to be a long preview, and it was, but I hope you enjoyed it. And still, it's just a sampling of some of the things you'll be able to hear and see at CanJam SoCal, which is happening again April 8th and 9th, 2017 at the JW Marriott LA Live. Now, scrolling on the screen is a complete list of all the exhibitors that will be at CanJam, and you'll see, once we get through this list, why we couldn't cover them all. I'm looking forward to seeing you at CanJam SoCal. If for any reason you can't make it, I'll see you on the forums.